4.3 is a week away, but as always, we have a new teaser trailer to satiate our curiosity, leaving us to wonder what is going to happen. And just like I predicted in this patch, it will be a giant battle. But what I couldn't have expected is how active Asat Pramad is himself, personally intervening in the Torn Scroll situation, in Graphia Academy, and wherever this specific place is. But despite all of this action, we are met with a once thought impossible event of meeting the creator of Imagenesis in Graphia, who looks suspiciously young. Even younger than Himeko, who might not even be the real Himeko at this point, considering that Ryusuke says she never left Plain Arcadia, but he might be working for Asat Pramad anyway, so we don't know if he can even be trusted. Oh yeah, the chaos of the 0.3 patches is back. 3.3 was Proi, and now we get to fight Himeko? Well, that, among many other things, is what I will be talking about today, along with the blade situation and Asat Pramad's aura farming, because this is the tragic comedy of elation revealed. But first, it's that time again. Blade is releasing soon, and it is time for me to bless some accounts. So if you want me to pull for you, apply in the Discord, linked in the description. The era of 6-7 is over, thank you so much for that. But the era of nice is right around the corner, so once again, do with that information what you will. On to the video. Okay, so first things first, Asat Pramad being active here is the worst possible sign, because as I've said before, once a chess master starts blatantly making aggressive moves, odds are he's confident enough in his ability to win. And we see this confidence shown by just how much he is aura farming in this trailer. Yes, Asat Pramad, we see the fit. Also, the massive power gap between a full-on Emanator and what the Trailblazer is as a path strider of multiple paths, I guess we could say, is on full display because bro just plucked us and took us out. But the curious thing about this is that we see Silverwolf here, and she's in her base form. She hasn't activated level 999 at all, which is the form that Asat Pramad said himself he is no match for.
I can tell. Right now, I'd be wise to stay out the line of fire.
But if she's not using it, she's probably not too much of a threat to him. And I can't really imagine why she's not using it since she's been itching to let loose for the longest time, and in this ending that won't be determined by the script, she is free to go crazy. So I fear that due to something we haven't seen, she doesn't have her cartridge for the moment or it's disabled in some way. I hope not, but I can't imagine any other reason for her to be in her base form here. It's like Dan Heng fighting but not transforming into Embobber Lune or Premansor Terrai. And speaking of those forms, we see Dan Heng using Premansor Terrai, so once again we are seeing him swap between his forms as he sees fit, which I think is pretty cool. What isn't cool though is that Asat Pramad is here too, which leads me to two possible conclusions. One, he is not really here and he just has body doubles and or is projecting himself into these places to cause problems and then leaving, kinda like he did with the Emoti Imagine, but just more dangerous. But enough about our villain that continues to aura farm in the face of literally everything in the game. Let's talk about Himeko, because our navigator is in trouble. She left the train for a character development and now our fears are coming to life, which is fitting because it's kind of Asat Pramad's thing. And I can say with confidence that I have never trusted Ryusuke, and from what we can see, this guy has a 52% chance of being a traitor to us and be working for the destruction. A conclusion that looks even worse when you see where this scene takes place, where Asat Pramad attacks Himeko. None other than the Dean of Graphia Academy's office. And we also see Himeko meeting with her so-called father in the academy, where they have a bit of a standoff. Whether Ryusuke is actually Asat Pramad or just working for him or working with him, we can't be too sure yet. But the thing is, this particular Lord Ravager is called the most human but also the most inhuman, which leads me to think that he can simply masquerade as people while also being a sociopathic and psychopathic killer, as he stands on the ceiling upside down to attack Himeko like Sasuke when he attacked the 5 Kage. But jokes aside, what this headshot seems to do is turn Himeko into this. Yes, I am well aware that this could just be corrupted graphia as well, but from the way the hair is and the way her bangs look, it looks more like Himeko to me. Because from what we can see of graphia, I think we are seeing a flashback version of her here, because we get shots from her battle with Asat Pramad all the way back when she turned plain Arcadia 2D, so this would be a young Graphia. What she looks like now, I don't think we have seen yet. Though we are with what appears to be Graphia here, I could be wrong, but the point is I am doubting whether this is Himeko or not, I'm not sure. Or I could just be overthinking this entirely and Graphia just looks young due to some deal she made with the Abundance, or doing something that allows her to stay young while draining the life force of her descendants and causing the Weathering Curse, as I've heard my fellow theorists propose. But either way, we are going to be getting a lot of insight on the past of Plain Arcadia, finally, because we also get a look at young Himeko in a wheelchair dying from the effects of the Weathering Curse during the Bloodstained Games. And yes, I do think this is during the Bloodstained Games because there are bodies all around her, and she was said to have been a supplicant during this time. And again, weird and strange, she said she defeated the Herald of Death Marcus Antali in this state. Personally, I can't see how, because she seems to be fighting hard enough to simply exist. Ryusuke tells us that the Weathering Curse tends to kill before 30, but if Himeko was a high schooler here, I would assume that she would at least be able to walk. I mean, she's most likely 16 to 18 here, so you would think that she would have around 10 more years in her and that she would be frail, but in okay shape, especially since Himeko told us herself that she used to be a rambunctious kid who used to fight a lot and throw people into the waters of Dovebrook and also get thrown in herself.
Looking at Dovebrook's scenery. Memories from my student days just come flooding back. Back then, Dovebrook District was teeming with gangs. There were hooligans running around everywhere, and some really loved messing with the students. I was taller than my peers, and happened to be training in martial arts.
Huh?
To stand up for my juniors, I would occasionally get into scraps with the thugs on the streets. The people who fell into the Dovebrook River would cover the surface like bean sprouts in noodle soup. It all feels like it was just yesterday. Sometimes the thugs fell in. Other times, I took the plunge myself. Back then, I was a bundle of restless energy. The teachers always said I was like a wind-up toy that never stopped banging its drums and cymbals, stirring up a commotion wherever I went.
So at some point she was strong enough to fight and swim, but not in high school? Yeah, something's off here. But it's Himeko, so just about everything we know about her is off in some weird way, especially due to the 2 ways she found the Express. I'm not forgetting that, Hoyo. I need answers. And if you have been looking for a Himeko theory from me, I'm sincerely sorry. I can't make one. There's just literally nothing for me to draw on to make so much as an educated guess. Himeko might as well be from Penacony the way that she does not answer questions. But my personal thoughts and complaints aside, also apparently Himeko never left Plain Arcadia, so I have no idea who we have been traveling with this entire time. Ryusuke, I thought this was a joke. It's not funny anymore. It wasn't even funny the first time. Is our Himeko a ghost imagine that just believes that she's the real Himeko like the other ghost imagine tend to be? Or are you sure? Well, you can't be, because you weren't there 15 years ago, Ryusuke, so you would have no idea if Himeko left or not. But you know who I bet was? Asat Pramad, this guy who has been plotting our downfall for Amber eras. It all links back to this dice head hat, man. I swear it does. Because now he is after Himeko, probably for the second time. And it doesn't look like Himeko can pizza cutter her way out of this one. I don't think that she'll die or is already dead, but we'll have to see. Which brings us to Blade. And what seems to have happened to him appears to be exactly as I predicted, which is using the veracity to consume the excess abundance within him to cure him from the Mara. He is still immortal, but at least he retains his sanity now, which is a straight up buff to Blade.
No longer troubled by the past, no longer bound by Mara. My sword points at the abundance, and I am wreathed in flames.
He's probably still in a lot of pain, but most likely no more than he already was. And the way that it's phrased here is using the veracity as a forge and the abundance as iron. So the veracity is shaping and forming the abundance power within Blade into something more honed, focused, and usable. That much makes sense. But what he also says here is especially fascinating. Let our undying flesh be the iron and death 1,000 times over be the hammer. He is acknowledging Shuhu as a part of himself here, and then says, are you ready to turn your vengeance against your god? Which, if I'm getting the context right here, means that Shuhu is mad at Yaoshi, which is insane to think about, but if you think about it, it actually makes sense. Because if Shuhu has been suffering for Amber eras, unable to die or actually truly live, would he blame Yaoshi for this torturous existence? And if so, would he cooperate with Blade to get revenge on Yaoshi, an abundance emanator that formerly traveled alongside Yaoshi themselves, turning on the abundance to join the hunt? This is a Lord Ravager type of backstory here. The possibilities are absolutely insane, but the motivation is there. And that is just about all I can glean from this trailer. Nothing so far as in regards to Pearl, Kuchiba, or Nihilux, and Evanesia's gone into slumber, so we have a ton of questions that will be answered in due time. But man, they do burn a hole in my brain, because this is the tragic comedy of elation revealed. I am so hyped for 4.3. The chaos is going to go absolutely nuts, and Asat Pramad is becoming my favorite Lord Ravager, and fast. It was Zephyro, but man, this guy is cool. I am worried for Himeko, but since her new form, Himeko Nova, is releasing afterwards, I can't be too concerned. I mean, she's got my name, so she's in good hands. I mean, heck, look at what happened with Era Nova. What? They're fine. They'll be back soon. Best Girl Herda's working on it, and Emporia's story's still got a question mark. Their story isn't over, and I don't believe Himeko's is over either. Nova means new beginning, and that is what I think Himeko will get. Blade threw away his past, and so will Himeko. That is my prediction. What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.